Welcome back to Suspended Fanimation. I'm your host, Dennis Betholkis, and it's time for Saturday morning blast off. Welcome, everybody. Yes, I am about half an hour late because it takes a little bit of time to do some of the thumbnails. And I fell asleep last night before doing it. So I was scrambling my ass off this morning in order to do it. And that's why I'm a little bit on the late side. Otherwise, you don't get those beautiful, lovely thumbnails beforehand. Otherwise, you get pictures of my ugly face making faces at the camera because it normally does that when you first set this thing up, and um, you really don't want that. You get enough of my ugly face as it is during the podcast itself. So there we go. Welcome everybody. I'm gonna start off with some of the lesser news. For those of you who haven't joined in before here, if you're just kind of lurking in the background wondering what the fuck this is, I basically talk about all the genre news of the week and then any other genre stuff that you guys want to talk about. So it's kind of a free for all. There's no format to it really. I do have a list of shit that I go through, and it's fun. So yeah, hey Anthony Greenslade, I'm doing all right. How about you? Um, so this is really kind of a fun time, it's a free for all. Uh I don't talk about too much stuff outside of the genre stuff, so there's no politics, there's no religion, nothing like that involved because quite frankly, you get enough of that from other news sources. This is a fun place, this is where it's at. So yeah, and let's get started with some of the stuff. Like I said, I'm going to talk about some of the lesser news until some people start trickling in here. So the King's Man got pushed back from, it was supposed to come out in February on Valentine's Day, actually, of next year to September of 2020. Actually, I don't consider that a bad thing. That means that Disney has a little bit more faith in it now at this point, and they've pushed it back. Actually, they made room for Ridley Scott's movie, which they moved to February, which I thought was kind of funny, and I'm okay with that, quite honestly. So Ridley Scott, of course, was doing stuff for Fox before Disney took him over, and they finished up that stuff. So finishing up my tea there a little bit too to help my throat out. Yeah. So Fanobi the thirst quencher. Ew, that's just disgusting. Thanks, Mark, for that visual that early in the morning. So the other funny thing that made me laugh was HBO Max wants to be a cable bundle, not another Netflix, as the AT&T CEO has said. That would be great. You guys are perfectly on your way because you keep raising your rates every 2 months, and if you keep doing that, you're gonna be just like every other cable bundle that's out there, not just another streaming service like Netflix or something like that. Which great. That's awesome. You guys can do that, and I'm still not going to buy your shit because I already subscribe to cable. I've got a locked in rate, so I'll get your HBO Max for free because I'm already signed into HBO. So there we go. When did Ridley Scott last make a good movie? That's a good question, Stanley. I don't remember. I don't think it was in this millennia. I believe it was last millennia. So maybe it was Gladiator. That might have been the last one, but I think that's about it. What's the transformer behind me? That is a Ghostbuster transformer. It's the Ecto One. Is what that is. That is what is behind me. Yes. So, all right, we got a few people in here now. Well, we got 5 people in here, but that's still good. We probably have some more lurkers going on. I'll get to the main news here. So there was a little article that popped up, and I found this kind of interesting. So what's been going on is the Mandalorian's been getting a lot of praise. I mean, a shit ton of praise and a lot of publicity, mainly because it's really fucking good, and also because of Baby Yoda or Boda or the child or all the different names that that little fucker goes by, because he's really damn cute and people want him. So much so it caught Disney off guard. They had plans, of course, to make merchandising on it, but they didn't realize how big of the demand was going to be for it. and it's huge. I mean, they got to the point now where they rushed into production, putting stuff out there. They started selling stuff yesterday. Yes, Baby Yoda did grab the Mandalorians by the balls. It did. I agree with you, Marks. It really did, and um, with good reason. I mean, it's really good stuff. So much so that it's overshadowing episode 9 that's coming out. And I've been hearing all kinds of horror stories about episode 9 that's going on right now. There's rumors that are swirling everywhere and none of it good, quite honestly. Um and I don't know, man. This leads up to this story that came out is it came out through the Hollywood Reporter. It said Star Wars uncertainty extends to Kathleen Kennedy's Disney future. What does that mean? So it says the Lucasfilm chief has a director lined up for a 2022 film, even as she has yet to settle on the direction for the marquee franchise's evolving mythology or her own future. So her contract with Disney is up in 2021. Um, right now, Favreau and Filoni, who are working on the Mandalorian, are getting heaps of praise right now. Fahey also wants to make a Star Wars movie. Supposedly, he approached Lucasfilm, the Lucasfilm guys, and said, "Hey, is there any chance I can make a movie? Because I'm a huge Star Wars fan, and I have done some work, here and there." Uh, doing some other work in another genre, but I thought maybe I could do, one in the Star Wars universe as well. And then we also have another person who has been killing it. She is the Lucasfilm Senior VP of Live Action Development and Production. So she's been working with Favreau, Filoni, and Fahey a little bit as well. And her name is Michelle Rejuan. If you are wondering who that person is on my thumbnail that I have there, who's holding a X-wing in her hand, that is Michelle Rejuan. She is the Lucasfilm Senior VP of Live Action Development and Production. So with those four people, rumor is going on right now that most likely she being Kathleen Kennedy is going to be pushed out, and these four people are going to be the people that usher in a new age of Lucasfilm. Uh, movies and TV shows and what have you. Kind of like what happened with Fahey pushing out Ike Perlmutter, Jeff Loeb. Um, and quite honestly, I want that, to tell you the truth. Uh, Kathleen Kennedy also is on record fairly recently of saying that it's really hard to come up with Star Wars stories. It's not like they're already written or anything like that. And we're like, bitch, where have you been for the last 40 years? There are books, there are comics, there are 40 years worth of books and comics out there, which Disney has, said those are no longer canon and they're fair game for Disney to use because they are licensed under Lucasfilm anyway. So, yeah. I already heard The Mandalorian is too broy. No, it's not. There's gonna be, trust me, there are gonna be women in this thing fairly soon. As a matter of fact, the next episode. So don't worry about that. They just need to set up it's a slow burn. That's what it is. And yes, I agree with you, Penn. She's a fucking idiot. She really is, for coming out there and saying that. She obviously doesn't know the Star Wars universe, if that's the case. Um, I hope Mandalorian doesn't turn into running around with Baby Yoda for 3 seasons. I don't think so, Dante S. It's gonna go someplace. This is Favreau that we're talking about. He actually knows. This is the man that started Iron Man. He's the one who started the Marvel franchise along with Fahey. If there's anybody who knows how to set up a universe, it's this guy. He actually sat down with Fahey and they mapped out the Marvel universe, how the Marvel universe is going to evolve. I have plenty of faith in him and Filoni, because Filoni's in on this too. He's the executive producer of The Mandalorian, and he knows a story or two as well. If you go back and take a look at the Clone Wars, you take a look at Rebels, those two have produced my two favorite characters, two favorite new characters in the Star Wars franchise who aren't in live action at the moment, and that is Ahsoka Tano and the Bendu. So yeah, I think we're in good hands at that point. but there are no books for Star Wars. Exactly. Whoopsie. I almost lost something that's going to be shown a little bit later here. And I don't want to go into frame as of yet. If that's the case, where the Mandalorian team keep making Star Wars content, are we back? Yeah. Well, they've already been greenlit for a season 2. He's already writing and directing, I believe, season 2 content right now, Morks. He being John Favreau. Dennis, what does my coffee cup say? It's Starbucks. I don't know. That's what it says. It says Starbucks on it. My favorite from the Clone Wars Savage Press. Really? Yeah, that was Lucas's daughter who named that character, by the way, Dante S. was Savage Press, which I was like, okay. I just, when Ahsoka Tano first came on to Clone Wars, I fucking hated her because she was set up for a kid's show. And then as it got, darker and darker and darker going down the trail, that was what I was like, oh shit, actually, she's a really good character. And, it was one of those things. I was like, I have to say, I take that back. So my two favorite Force users, newest Force users in the Star Wars universe is Ahsoka Tano and Bendu. So I want to get outside of the Force users. I want to get outside of the Skywalker family. I want to get outside the running around with the resistance and all that stuff. I want outside of that a little bit. And that's what we're doing with the Mandalorian, at least. We're seeing outside of this universe for the first time. And that's why it's such a breath of fresh air, because we're not in such a small little ecosystem. We have spread out a bit. Rebels was kind of like that too. Yes, we got Chopper and Sabine. I agree with you, Marks. Good characters. And Thrawn, yes. I've got Thrawn's book someplace around here too. The latest book by Timothy Zahn. So, I'll get to that in a little bit, Mr. Roboto. I'm on something else at the moment. So yeah, it's some really good stuff that we have coming out, and I, for one, am actually happy if those four take over Lucasfilm and start doing really good stuff with it. Um, One of the other things that happened too, which has completely gotten rid of Ike Perlmutter's influence and Jeff Loeb's influence, is Runaways on Hulu has been canceled. Season 3 is its last on Hulu, and that's it. Thank Christ. That's all I could say. Or Buddha, or whatever deity was involved in that, because that show sucked. I'm sorry. It was the last in the low rent of Marvel TV show, Marvel budget TV shows, because yeah, they just sucked. They really did. Stay of the first season, go back and watch it again and tell me if it was good, because I suffered through that first season. I thought it was just me, and it's not. It's slow. It's very slow, and it's because they didn't have the budget, quite honestly, because Ike Perlmutter, being the penny pinching motherfucker that he is, said, okay, you get $25 per episode to do this. Here you go. And yes, it's very high schooly. Um, and you could still make Marvel movies for kids, teenagers and adults, and still cross over into different age groups doing that stuff. It's been done before. You don't need to really pander down to people in making these things. And that's what Fahey's good at. And that's what he wants to do with with Marvel Studios taking over the TV side of things now. Cloak and Dagger's been canceled, Stanley. That was canceled a while back before Runaways. I even said Runaways was going to be the last thing that gets canceled, and we're going to hear about that. I talked about that a couple of podcasts, a couple of SBOs ago. And I was right. And it's not just because I'm not like a soothsayer or, predicting things. You can, if you just read the news and you know what you're reading and you know what's being presented to you in the entertainment news, you can already tell what's happening. It's already out there. It's just veiled in whatever little things there are. Agents of Shield was canceled 2 seasons ago, Stanley. This is the second half of the season, the last season. They split it into 2 and called it season 8 or 7 or whatever the hell it was. Yeah. And like I said, it's not me predicting the future. It's just reading. you know, what's there. Uh, yeah, Agents of Shield was a thing that's best left in the past, quite honestly. It started off okay, and then Ike got in the way of things, and Fahey cut ties with it, and that's why it crashed and burned. Or not to say there wasn't some good things out of it here and there. Ghost Driver not being one of them. Ghost Driver was horrible. That was one of the worst things about it. Oh, you missed a lot, Pen. You missed me ranting. And the rant's done. No, it wasn't ranting. I was talking about Star Wars. Um, yes, I am a witch, and I'll burn you too. But yeah, that's where we're going with Star Wars there. And I, for one, am happy about it, to tell you the truth. So the other thing I'm kind of happy about is that The Rock, who is going to be playing Black Adam, he finally announced, Black Adam is in production, which he says this every couple of months. Um, he says that Black Adam is going to introduce the JSA to the DCEU. Now, what the hell is the JSA? That is the Justice Society of America. That is the old Justice League, if you will. That was created in the 40s, if I remember correctly, and it had a lot of old timers on there, and that's going to be interesting to bring that into the DC universe of movies because it hasn't been done yet. And it's been brought into the TV shows and the TV shows here and there. Smallville has done it. The CW has done it. So that's actually pretty good. Witch, warlock, whatever, Anthony. Yeah. You still won't see it tired of The Rock. I agree with you, Marks. I'm tired of him too. The Jumanji movies are fun. That's about it. I mean, I'm probably not going to pay to go and see them, but I'll wait till they come out on cable. I like some of it. The future stuff was fun. What are you talking about, Stanley? Uh, oh, Agents of Shield. Okay. Yeah, it's the future stuff. That went on way too long. That was like a 3-episode arc max, is what that was. And so they turned it into a thing, and it just kind of got stupid near the end. I actually got stupid in the middle, and it got stupid near the end. Yeah, and just the bad special effects too, because they didn't have any money. They really didn't. They didn't have any money. And I'm glad that Fahey is now, running things on the television side because we're going to get some properly funded shows now. Yeah. Ah. So what else I got here? Oh yeah. So it's finally announced that January 21st, Project Blue Book season 2 is going to start on the History Channel. For those of you who haven't seen it, it follows Alan Hynek, who real person who got hired on by the military to investigate UFOs for the Air Force, and he had a military person that was actually he was working with. And so it's kind of where the X Files was taken from, was all of his writings. He believes in UFOs in real life, and so this is a fictional account of his time doing Project Blue Book, and it's very much set up like the X Files. It's a really good show. It's got a lot of intrigue, espionage, if you will, things like that. And the first season was just awesome. I mean, really good. It was like old X Files, quite honestly, but updated. And yeah, Fanobi is doing that right now. Season 2, I am going to be covering that when it comes out. It is a good season, a good series, and so I'm going to be covering that definitely. So if you haven't seen it, go and watch it. It should be on the History Channel, and you should be able to watch episodes. If not, I believe they're someplace online where you can find them and watch them. And I think it's 13 episodes, if I'm not mistaken. So that should be a good run. The Mysterious Island was good with The Rock and Michael Caine. Which one? Number 2 or number 3, Anthony? Oh, wait, he wasn't in number 3. I think he was in number 2. Yeah. Yeah. I'm not a huge fan. I mean, he was great in The Rundown. Um, but ever since I found out that he wants only happy endings in his movies, it kind of takes out, any kind of joy out of those movies, quite honestly. You can't have every movie in a happy ending movie. Happy ending, I should say. Happy endings are the best left to massage parlors. Pen Farm Girl says, I like Blue Book. They took some liberties and I could have done without the minor lesbian storyline, but good. Yeah, the minor lesbian storyline was to show how far Mimi was repressed as a housewife. I agree with you, Penn. They kind of took the whole prim and proper 50s housewife and uh, yeah, they kind of blew that out just a little bit. Yeah. I agree with you, Anthony. He is a happy person. I'm glad he's done the things that he's done, but yeah, I need a little bit more from my actors sometimes. I want some range for my even for my action stars, quite honestly. You can always have a happy ending. Uh-huh. Yeah. So, let's see what else I got going on here. And yes, I will be talking about my trip to Disneyland probably at the end of this. So, uh, you can all stick together with that. The Elric Saga, for those of you who are familiar with the Elric Saga, it's being shopped around right now as a TV series by one of the old Walking Dead showrunners. And they're trying to market this as the next big Game of Thrones series. I don't know if I'd call that so much a Game of Thrones type of series, quite honestly. But sure, why not? Go for it. If you guys are into that, yeah, Michael Moorcock's Elric Saga. Sure. I mean, if that's, I wasn't a big fan of it, to tell you the truth. Michael Moorcock is not the one who is the showrunner who's running that. I can tell you in just a second because I do have the link to it. I just didn't write it down because Glenn Mazzara and Vaughn Wilmot are the two showrunners that are trying to shop that thing around right now. Those are the two that are shopping it around. And I know it was, put into a comic book form too at some point in time, but is Fantasy Island out? Does anyone see it? I don't think it's out yet. I think it's coming out next year, is when it's supposed to come out, right? Why would the Walking Dead writer leave that show? He's not a writer, he was a showrunner. And they switch out showrunners like every 2 or 3 years. 2 years, I think, is what it is. So he's off to do his own thing, run his own show, if you will. Do you think a series would like to be called a Game of Thrones type series? What is the biggest letdowns in TV history? Agents of Shield is a big letdown. Let's see what else is a big letdown. Um, I don't know. I'm blanking on stuff at the moment. I mean, Agents of Shield for me is the biggest letdown as far as I'm concerned. That actually promised a lot of crossover with the Marvel movies and things like that. And then when Ike wasn't going to play well with Kevin, that's when everything ceased to exist between those two. I don't think Jessica Jones was a big letdown. The first season was good. The second season sucked ass, and the third season was decent, quite honestly. Um, yeah, there hasn't been anything that's been really like super uber hyped. And well, The Passage was very hyped, and that thing crashed and burned. But it was on Fox, so I mean that was a given. That thing sucked too. It was just bad. Um, Yeah, the Gifted was horrible from the start. It really was. You have an entire fucking Marvel universe to pick from, and all you do is just sit people inside of a movie set, and say we have mutant powers, but never really show them. And then you use old clips from like Knight Rider and shit like that when you're using the outside. I mean, literally it had grainy material going on. You could tell it was just old stock footage that they used. But yeah, Lost was pretty bad. Lost was a big letdown too. But then again, you could tell if you watch that first season of Lost, you can. I even noticed. I was like, they don't know where this is going at all. They have no clue where this shit's going. And I stopped watching after the first season. And sure enough, after it was done, they admitted they're like, yeah, we had no idea where it was going. We made it up as we went along. And that is your typical J.J. Abrams production. Just take a look at episodes 7, 8, and 9 of Star Wars if you want to see that they don't know where it's going. One of the writers who was supposed to direct episode 9, I can't remember his name now, has gone on record as saying that uh, the meeting between Krylo and Ray in episode 8 was because he asked for it because he wanted to do something in episode 9. He wrote a script for episode 9 which they didn't like, Disney didn't like, and he got fired from it. And he says the emperor being brought in was JJ Abrams' idea. So for those of you who are kind of wondering why the emperor was brought back in, it's JJ Abrams for whatever reason. The rest of it is whoever this other guy is. I can't remember his name, just because I really didn't care. Steve Moyer is one of the worst fucking actors in the world. I'm sorry, Mr. Roboto. Lost of the type of show that just gives you the runaround. Yeah, it's a mystery box show. That is so anyone who's ever been associated with J.J. Abrams and Lost, they've gone off to do, like Damon Lindelof, the guy who's running Castle Rock, the show Castle Rock on Hulu. They're all mystery box writers. So what they do is they give you a lot of cool shit, a lot of razzle dazzle, but they never give you an answer, and they never really have an idea of where the story is going. It's done so you can have a perpetual show going on with no real endpoint in sight. You're not going to have an answer. You don't have anything written down as to why this is happening. You don't have a beginning, middle, and end. You just have an endless loop of things. And that's not fair to your audience, quite honestly. If you have not figured on, figured out where your show is going to go, why it's happening. Steve Moyer could play the mute guy on Humans. No, he couldn't, because that actually takes talent in order to convey emotions on your face, which, quite honestly, Anson Mount did a good job without having to speak, quite honestly. Steve Moyer, on the other hand, he has that one expression though, where he looks like he's had a stroke. Apologies to people who've had strokes, but that's what he looks like. Yeah, didn't they get divorced? I know he married her, but I think they got divorced too, didn't they? Yeah. The emperor was brought back because no one else wanted to. That's right, Marks. That's exactly right. Uh, Dennis, you worry me saying positive things about the Inhumans. That's the only positive thing you'll ever get from me, Penn. Is I actually like Anson Mount as a actor. He's a good actor, and he was the reason why Star Trek Discovery, from what I understand, season 2, why it went anywhere, because everyone says good things about him. And yes, Hell on Wheels was fucking awesome. If you haven't seen Hell on Wheels, go and watch that. Watch the first season and tell me what you think of it. It's on Netflix, if I remember correctly. It might have been gone from Netflix now, but I'm not reviewing the Inhumans. It's a garbage pile, trash bag, dumpster fire, plane wreck, train wreck of a show. Yeah. It's a really shitty show. I tried watching the last episode, and I was like, "Wow, this thing is so far fucking gone. It's ridiculous. It's that bad." Yeah, hey, let's get the guy from Game of Thrones that no one liked, and we'll put him in as another guy that no one likes. But we're not going to give him a script, and we're not going to give him the budget to do the actual necessary special effects to make it look good. We'll have a cardboard cutout of whatever the base is supposed to be on the moon. And hey, Medusa, her hair is supposed to move. Let's shave the actress's head so we don't have to spend money on that either. Forgetting humans, something more positive with town to spare. Alan Tudyk. Yeah, Alan Tudyk is going to be doing Resident Alien on Sci-Fi. I don't know when that's supposed to be coming out. I haven't heard any news about it lately, and I'm hoping that we see some more of it. Now, of course, he's got to be coming back for Doom Patrol because he was one of the bright spots in Doom Patrol. I mean, the entire season of Doom Patrol was just awesome. The entire cast is awesome, but he was also just really good as the villain. Yeah. Yeah, Ramsey Bolton, thank you. That's the name of the guy from yeah. And yes, Danger Boat. I miss Danger Boat too. Yeah. He also doubled in for uh so the Santa Clarita Diet. Nathan Fillion was in the first episode or the first season, and then the second season he couldn't make it in, and Alan Tudyk does the voice for Nathan Fillion's head in the second season because he's supposed to be decomposed and whatnot, and it's just the head that's left of him. And I was laughing my ass off because I didn't realize that he had actually done Nathan Fillion's voice because he'd been around him for so long. He actually does impressions of him. So yeah, that was pretty fucking funny that they called him in to do the voice for him because he wasn't available. You couldn't get beyond the first episode of the Santa Clarita Diet. It's actually good. It's pretty funny. It's cheesy, I'll give you that, but it does get moving once you get into the end of this, the final, the last episodes of that first season, then it just snowballs and just gets bigger and bigger. Yes, it is very hammy, Stanley. I like the hammy stuff on that. It was a fun little harmless episode of things. Yes, I did see Con Man. Con Man was awesome with them together. I really wish that Sci-Fi had picked that thing up. They were talking about they were gonna do a regular weekly series on it, and they never did. Kinda disappointed by that. Alright, what else do I got here? Um, yes. So John Turturro is going to play Carmine Falcone in The Batman, the new Batman movie that's coming out. So he's gonna play Carmine Falcone, the mobster. Okay. I can see, John Turturro playing that. That's fine with me. Um, do we really need to see Bruce Wayne's parents die again? Probably not, but they're probably gonna do it again anyway. Who knows? The Batman, you mean? You mean Jesus from The Big Lebowski? Yes, he's gonna be playing that. And what else I got going on here? Um, Showtime is going to have a new series called Yellowjackets with Christina Ricci and Juliette Lewis and quite a few other people as adult versions of a girl. So it's a girls' soccer team that devolved into a cannibalistic tribe. And so now they're playing the adult versions of their. I guess they're going to go back and forth in time on this as to what happened, why they became this. And let me see what the cast is. There's actually a fairly big cast on this too. So Ella Purnell, Sophie Nelise, Sammy Henrati, Sophie Thatcher, Stephen Kruger, Amy Akuda, and Christina Ricci and Juliette Lewis. Of course, those are the two big names right there. And as they put it here, as an adult, Natalie, who is struggles to quiet the demons that still haunt her from her time in the wilderness. I guess they got lost out in the wilderness and devolved into cannibalism, and some may still be doing that cannibalistic thing right now. Yeah. Um, so I'm interested to see where this is going to go. To tell you the truth, it sounds kind of interesting, and yeah, like I said, I'm all for something that's gonna be a little bit different than the normal things. Kinda like Lord of the Flies, I guess, but now they're grown up, and what happened to it? What happened to them at this point? Um, it's called The Batman because they ran out of titles, and that's what Matt Reeves wants to call it, is The Batman. Sounds a little too wacky for me. I'm willing to give it a try, it's Christina Ricci and Juliette Lewis together in a dark comedy kind of thing. I'm up for it. I'll see what it happens with it. It sounds like fun. Yeah. What else to have here? Oh yeah, I know Viking Bitch will be all over this one. So Netflix is going to be doing a sequel to Vikings that's set 100 years after Vikings, and it's called Valhalla. Yeah, and it's going to follow people like Leif Erikson and I forget who else. They said there's a couple of famous Vikings. Yeah, Leif Erikson and others is what it says. So yeah, okay, yeah, Leif Erikson, Freitas, Harold Harada, and the Norman King William the Conqueror, who was a Viking descendant. It's gonna follow all those people, and that sounds like it's gonna be kinda cool. Jeb Stewart, who did The Fugitive and Die Hard, he's been handpicked by Hearst to serve as a showrunner for the follow-up. So Hearst was the guy who did the original Vikings, show. He was a showrunner for that. So, yeah, he's picked Jeb Stewart, who's good at doing action movies. So what the hell, you know? I'm okay with that. Yeah, I liked Vikings, but I didn't love Vikings. A lot like some people here who are not on at the moment because they're on a plane. She is on a plane right now, Stanley. That's what's going on. So love Viking season 3 for 3 seasons. Know it sounds weird, but they started to make every scene so yeah, they did. One of my favorite things that I saw, oh, sorry about that. I didn't mean to actually hit that with my thumb, but that I saw at Comic Con was I was waiting for Ash versus Evil Dead to start. It was the first season. They were talking about, Ash versus Evil Dead happening. And right before that panel was a Vikings panel. And Vikings the Vikings fans that were in the crowd at that time had like the horns in the back, so and they were like really into it. It was actually a lot of fun, just because those fans were so into that show, and it was a lot of fun, quite honestly. And then of course Ash versus Evil Dead right afterwards was so much fun right after that too, because Bruce Campbell in a bright red suit, uh, just talking shit to everybody, which was a lot of fun. This is a Funko shirt, Mr. Roboto. That's what that is. And no, I did not get the press pass as of yet. We haven't heard yet. That will be probably next year is when I'll hear. So see ya, Marks. Drive safe, man. Yeah. All right. Let's see. Oh yeah, Stargirl. So Stargirl, which is supposed to be on DC Universe, we just got word that Stargirl is going to play on both DC Universe and the CW. So it's going to premiere on both at the same time. Why? I don't know. Maybe it's to quell the rumors that DC Universe is going away and being absorbed by HBO Max. I don't know, but that's what they have decreed. So, what about those of us that are paying for DC Universe? So, we're paying for something that's being broadcast for free now. Are we not? Are we going to do it without the commercials? Obviously, but yeah, come on. I was looking forward to this series, and then it just seems like there's more and more shit that's happening. That DC Universe. The more I think about it, DC Universe is going away. It's just going to go away. No, it doesn't quell any rumors. Quite honestly, Pen, it really doesn't. I'm fairly sure they're going away and they're going to get absorbed. So, there's other stuff on DC Universe that's worth the sub. You get to read comics, like new comics and things like that. There's old TV shows on there, DC related shows. There's DC animated movies that are on there, shorts. They also have their own weekly series that they do, which is kind of fun. They bring in some guests from the TV shows and the movies and things like that, and they talk to them. Also, artists and comic book artists and things like that. So it's worth it. It's worth the what is it? It's $8 a month or something like that, $7 a month. So what will happen to the comic part if they kill the DCU? Probably it's just going to roll back over into Comixology because you can get that same stuff over at Comixology. Quite honestly, so I'm fairly sure that's what it's going to do. So New Gods has a movie coming out, Mr. Roboto. They're in the works right now. You know, um, yeah. So that is being worked on at the moment. Let's see what else we've got here. Oh yeah. So Avenue 5 is a new show from the showrunner of Veep, the HBO show Veep. On Avenue 5 takes place in space, and it's going to happen on HBO in January 2020. Hugh Laurie is the captain of a luxury liner, a luxury space liner, I guess it is. And they just released the teaser trailer, or the teaser trailer last week during Watchmen. And I was laughing my ass off, quite honestly, because it was pretty funny, to tell you the truth. And one of the passengers asks him at one point, he goes, "Are you going to an escape, to an escape pod?" And he goes, "My dear lady, if there was an escape pod, I would put you on it." And then as he's walking away, and then I would light the fucking thing on fire. Which the way he said it with the little British accent, because he's, you never get his British accent, quite honestly. And it's nice hearing his British accent for a while there. He is not walking on a cane and on drugs. He might be on drugs, who knows? And yes, it is a space cruise. But I don't know if it's a space cruise. There's probably gonna be some twist to it too, where they're escaping humanity or something like that, or Earth has been destroyed and now they're on a luxury cruise. I don't know. There's probably gonna be some shock value to it. Penn says, I was shocked at how good Doom Patrol and Swamp Thing were, and I loved rewatching constantly. Never regretted the $8 per month. Yeah, exactly. Is it a soapy cruise ship show set in space? No, it's not. It's a comedy. Like I said, it's from the guy who did Veep. So if you have never seen Veep, it's a comedy with some drama set into it a little bit. And it was something you would have said. Yeah, it's totally something I would have said, Pen. I actually probably would have said it to her face. I would have said, if I had an escape pod, I would have put you in it, and then I would set the fucking thing on fire, and then I would turn and walk away. But yeah, I'm not very customer service oriented, I guess, is what that is. Oh man. Yeah. No, I can be customer service oriented, but you know, people need to cut a little slack though too on some things. What else we got here? Um oh yeah. This actually looked really good. So December 19th on FX, we're gonna have A Christmas Carol. Yes, I know what you're saying. Fuck, another Christmas Carol show? Yes and no. It looks more like a horror story, this Christmas Carol, and it's done up from the cast and crew of Taboo, at least half the cast and crew of Taboo, the, Tom Hardy series. Tom Hardy is one of the executive producers of this show, as well as, Ridley Scott, and it stars Guy Pearce as Ebenezer Scrooge. If you go and take a look on my Facebook page, you will see the trailer up there, and the trailer actually looks pretty damn good. So, go and take a look at it, tell me what you guys think. It looks like a lot of fun, and like I said, it's a movie. It's a Christmas Carol movie, and then also we're gonna have, they're gonna rebroadcast it, of course, on Christmas is what they're gonna do. Oh man. I just started watching Dragon Prince season 3, and my life was not ruined by the inclusive social messages. I don't even know what Dragon Prince is, Stanley. Sorry. Don't know what it is. All right. Uh so to no one's great surprise, a sequel to The Joker is coming. Mm. Oh, sorry, I fell asleep there for a second. Uh, Todd Phillips also wants to do more DC origin stories. In other words, remaking old movies using DC Comics characters. And so I was trying to think of what would be a good remake of an old movie that you could fit over a DC Comics character. And nothing was really springing to mind all of a sudden, but I'm sure something will be coming up. And yeah, it's really is a travesty, quite honestly. Ah, Hat Stanley Tweedle is the king, the bird. What? Animated Netflix show from people who made Avatar. Oh, yeah, that doesn't sound like anything I want to see, quite honestly. Yeah, I know. I'm afraid of giving them more ideas. Exactly, Pen. I really am. Not sure I understand what you mean. Yeah. So it's just I'm kind of disappointed that Joker made $1 billion because I knew this is exactly what was going to happen. Is that the Warner Brothers execs are going to go, "Hey, look, something worked. We're going to do more of the same shit, and we're going to do 15 movies like this, but we're not going to do anything new and interesting. We're just going to remake a whole bunch of old movies that are in our vault anyway, and we're going to slap comic book shit on top of them." I highly doubt the Joker sequel is gonna have Harley in it. Harley's got her own stuff going on at the moment, and if, the Birds of Prey movie does well, you're gonna see nothing but Harley Quinn stuff with Margot Robbie blowing up at WB as well. And yeah, this is the stuff you get when you do a Zack Snyder DC movie. Exactly. I agree with you, Stanley. So now I guess it's been confirmed that there is a Snyder cut of Justice League, which honestly I don't give a shit. And so now everyone's pumping out that they want to see the Snyder cut. So they want to see Batman murder a couple more people and Superman murder a shit ton of people and Wonder Woman murder some people and Cyborg of course murder some people and Flash inadvertently run through some people and kill them as well and because that's the Snyder murderverse. Yeah. Uh okay. Yeah. Let's see. What else I got here? Um, oh yeah, this was kind of a weird thing. So Noah Hawley is going to write and direct Star Trek 4, which is set in the Abrams, timeline. I don't even call it the Kelvin universe. It's the J.J. Abrams timeline. So I was thinking now, J.J. Abrams has destroyed two of the oldest and probably the biggest franchises in modern movie history, which is Star Trek and Star Wars now. He really has. And I don't know if Noah Hawley could do anything that would get me to go and see it, to tell you the truth. I mean, I love Noah Hawley, don't get me wrong, but yeah, it's set in a universe that I really have no desire to see. Again, we've already gone through Kirk and Spock and all these people ad infinitum. We don't need any more of that. Move on to another iteration of something in the in the Star Trek universe that isn't them. I understand you like those characters, Paramount likes those characters. They want to just go with that. Fuck it. Move on to something else. Yeah, just move on with something else at this point. No, we don't need a Discovery movie either. God, no. Just do a, Section 31 movie, or you can have them bounce through time if you really want to do that and fucking things up. Frankly, I would like to see something outside of the Federation, outside the military complex, and see, some of these worlds. What's it like to be just like an ordinary citizen in one of these things? Chris Pine is not done with it. He had a contract dispute with Paramount, and if they give him enough money, which it sounds like they will, he'll come back. Stop it with the Section 31. Why? The time travel right now is the only thing that's any good with Star Trek now at this point of what they've got going on. Because I can tell you right now that Picard show is going to be dog shit because you have Akiva Goldsman in the writing room. It's going to be horrible. Yeah. Although you're not going to see Chris Hemsworth back as Kirk's father in that one. He's out. Yeah. Let's see what else we got here. I think I'm on my last thing, as a matter of fact. I am on my last item here. So Abe Forsyth, who directed the zombie movie Little Monsters with Lupita Longo, uh, he is going to be the new director for RoboCop Returns. And if you don't know what RoboCop Returns is, Ed Neumeyer, who wrote the script for the first RoboCop, the very first RoboCop, he has written a sequel to it. So RoboCop 2 and 3 that came out in the theaters that Frank Miller wrote the scripts for, those are not considered canon anymore. They're going to be tossed out. And this RoboCop Returns is going to be a direct sequel to the very first RoboCop movie. The remake of RoboCop, no one thinks about that anymore because that was a complete and total steaming pile of shit. So that is out at the moment. But yeah, I'm okay with this, to tell you the truth. You know, um, it's been in the works for a while, Pen. This RoboCop movie, and I'm okay with that. If they do a good job of it, they're not going to get Peter Weller back, though. That's for damn sure. I mean, he's not going to play RoboCop in a million years. I would like to see him do a cameo of something, but yeah, I don't think it's going to happen. Yeah. Talking of RoboCop, when is Altered Carbon back? That's a good question, Stanley. I know they're filming it. Anthony Mackie's in it, so I think they finished filming it because now Anthony Mackie has gone on to do the Falcon and Winter Soldier. They already started filming that for Disney Plus. So he's going to be busy with that for a while, and I'm fairly sure he's already finished his Altered Carbon stuff. I love Peter Weller. Peter Weller, he's not cantankerous, but he does speak his mind. and he's a professor too, which I love. He's a professor of architecture, if I remember correctly. He's an active professor in Chicago, if I remember correctly, on that one. And he every now and then he will go on hiatus. He'll go on sabbatical, and he'll film some stuff, or he'll actually direct some stuff too, TV wise, which is really cool of him. He's just a all around awesome guy. Yeah. They're all old for a Buckaroo Banzai sequel. Not bonsai, but bonsai. Yeah. BAN ZAI. I would love to see him actually. I would love to see all the old guys come back for a Buckaroo Banzai sequel because Jeff Goldblum, him, Clancy Brown. Well, of course, you can't get Perfect Tommy back because he's actually dead. The actor who played him. Who else would be coming back? You know, if you get all the old guys back, that'd be kind of fun. And hand it off to a new generation, maybe a son or something like that. And you can get Ellen Barkin back too. That's pretty penny. Yeah, John Lithgow. But now he's got the aliens out of his head, so he is now normal and works with bonsai. uh, that would just be awesome, quite honestly. They'd all be rolling around in wheelchairs or whatnot and saving the world. John Budbuti is dead. He fell on his head. That's a great movie. It really is. John Lithgow, he can be normal. He really can. Um, he is great when he's just out there and nutty, but uh stop, I want it. Yeah, I know exactly. When you start thinking about it, you're like, fuck, that actually would be a good thing to do. Yeah. Who was great as Churchill, Stanley? He was in the worst JJ Trek movie. Uh, oh, Lithgow. Oh, Lithgow played Churchill. I didn't know that. Hmm. So, let's see. I'm done with all my stuff, all my topics. Yeah, I am actually done with all my topics. So, Thursday, I had gone to a little place called Disneyland because it was my birthday and I wanted to go. So, um, what I did was I went to Galaxy's Edge and played around there for a little bit. Quite honestly, I spent the entire day there at Galaxy's Edge because there is just so much shit you can do there. And one of the things I highly recommend doing is you're going to spend money there anyway. You're going to spend a shit ton of money at Disneyland. And instead of pulling your credit card out over and over again with the option of possibly losing your credit card, because you're going to keep pulling it in and out of your pocket to the point where you're going to probably just put it someplace where it's going to have the option of falling out. Well, I highly suggest that you get one of these guys. So, what is this that you ask? This is, and you can get a size reference there by my hand. This is a metal chit, is what this is. On the back, which I'm not going to show you because it will there's unscrupulous people on the internet there. But underneath my finger, there is a barcode. And what that does is you can actually get money put on this guy. And so when you go to pay for stuff like your food, your drinks, your lightsaber, your Mickey Mouse ears, whatnot, you can use this to pay for it. It's fucking heavy too. It's actually pretty, you can tell when it's in your pocket, quite honestly. Somebody on Etsy actually made a little necklace for it so you can hang it, so you slip it in there, but you can still have access to the barcode in the back. which was genius, quite honestly. I want to get one of those if I ever go back again because it's fucking pricey to get into Disneyland. Yes, you have to put a in order to get one of these guys, first of all, you gotta find out where it's at. It's at the Droid Depot, so if you, are looking for it, it's in the Droid Depot, and yes, it costs you $100. Technically, these are free, gift cards, but it's gonna cost you $100 in order to put on this thing, to get one of them. But quite honestly, $100, it's gonna fly by fairly quickly. $100 for a money card. Yes, exactly, that's what it is, Stanley. I spent that $100. I spent it throughout the day. I mean, I got food, I got, kyber crystals, so there's just a minimum of $100. That's right. You can pump money onto it anytime you want. You go to any store and say, "Hey, I wanna reload my card," and you pull out your credit card, you reload it with however much money you wanna put on there. Um, what was that, Cordell? I didn't see what you said there. Second time you recommend this chip, you recommend this chip, you got shares? I don't, no. So it didn't actually cost anything. Yeah, it doesn't cost you anything, Stanley, just your initial $100 to activate it and get it. Otherwise, they won't give it to you. You can't say, "Hey, I just want to put $50 on it." No, as soon as you ask for one, they go, "Okay, you need to put $100 on it." I'm like, "All right, sure." So that's what I did. Um, so one of the other things I got was, let me see if I'm on my screen here. Damn it. There we go. I got myself a lightsaber. Yes. I should say I built myself a lightsaber. And you have four different options. I went into Savi's workshop, is what it's called. And you can pick between the elementals. You can pick what else? Protection and justice. And of course, there's power and control, and so one other thing I can't remember what it was. So this is what I ended up building. You end up picking out two of your sheets, which is this guy here and this guy here. You pick out your middle section here as well, and then your end caps, this guy here and this guy here. This is a rancor tooth, is what this is supposed to be. So you also get to pick, and it's on the inside. I can't open it up because it takes too long to do it. But on the inside here is a kyber crystal. Your kyber crystal lets you get the color of your blade. And of course, as you can tell, yes, it does make sound effects. And if I hit it, if I can get it to go, there we go. If I can get it one more time, there we go. It does make the sound effects and all that kind of stuff as well. Yes. But you can change out the kyber crystals on this. I had originally had a purple blade on this. So you don't have to change the blade each and every time. Oh, and by the way, the blade does come out. So if you're walking around and you just want to have the hilt on you and all that kind of stuff for whatever cosplay you're doing, you can do that as well and just have the hilt. That's what this little doodad here is for, this little round thing. I actually have a clip on it that I can put on my belt if I want to. No, Feisty did not get one. So yeah, Feisty fan went with me to Disneyland here, and she actually recorded. Sorry, I'm putting this back in, and there we go. Trying to get that back in. All right, much better. She recorded the whole ceremony, so there is a gigantic, ceremony that you go through and all this stuff, and uh, you put them together. They actually have a little light show that happens. It's kind of like a show and all that. But at the end of it, of course, you get to keep your lightsaber. They give you a pack as well, so it doesn't get damaged. And you're asking, how much does that cost? Yeah, it's $200 is what it costs. Um, but again, you get to choose from a couple different hilts, all that kind of stuff. Did you grow a Padawan braid? No, I did not, because I'm not a Padawan. I'm a master. You don't fuck with the Jedi Master, son. And yeah, and I cannot drink out of it. No, that's what the Viking horn is back over here. There you go. There's the Viking horn right back there. Um, yes, but they are selling other, like you can get character lightsabers inside the store for roughly about the same costs, but you don't get customizations on it. And also you can't change out the blade colors. So you're saying, okay, what about the blade colors? Well, let's see if I can get these in my hand. There we go. So for an extra $15, you can buy kyber crystals, is what these are. So these are little tubes of kyber crystals, as you can see there. Da, da, da. And actually, there you go. It says kyber crystal on it. And you get a little crystal. So I have that was a yellow crystal that you saw in there. That's a white crystal. This is what I started off with in the blade was the purple crystal or the violet crystal, if you will. And then, of course, there is the red crystal. So the red crystal, you have a 1 in 100 chance of getting a black crystal. Now, the black crystal still emits a red blade. It won't give you a black blade. It's just a red blade. But the black crystal, they have what's called a holocron. You can buy the holocron for an extra $50, which I was not going to buy that. So you can get either a Jedi holocron or a Sith holocron. And the black crystal is supposed to have Snoke on there, so you can listen to Snoke impart any kind of wisdom. So supposedly, when you put these inside holocrons, you get a story out of them. Yeah, and so the reason why I went with the violet crystal when I was making my blade is you can't buy these inside the store. You can only get them through Savi's workshop. This is the only color crystal, by the way, that they don't sell within the workshop, and the only place you can get it is inside the Savi workshop, the building of your lightsaber. And of course, outside, the white crystal and the yellow crystal were the two that they didn't have inside the inside Savi's workshop. So that's why I bought those. And the red crystal I got because I was trying for my 1 in 100 chance of getting a black one. I didn't really need the black one. I just wanted to see if I can get one. Oopsie. As I'm dropping these guys. There we go. So what did I think of it? It was fucking awesome, quite honestly. So we went at one of the best times. It was just after a gigantic rainstorm the night before, so people didn't want to come in. Um, we had like a 20-25 minute wait to get on the Millennium Falcon run, and I got a little motion sick on it because I just don't do good with motion rides, quite honestly. And it's one of those up, down, left, right. It kind of moves you around in the room and everything. And they stuck us into the pilot section. I didn't need to be the pilot, quite honestly. It was fun. It was a lot of fun. You see Hondo, you get to see Hondo in there. It's all set up to be part of the First Order. That's the only thing I really didn't like. I would have rather just had the Empire, straight up Empire, because as I was telling Feisty when we were walking through, I'm like, the First Order kind of sucks. I miss the Empire. The Empire was so much better. And that kind of, gets me to the whole thing of Star Wars is when you start pining for a different kind of I guess fascist regime, like the Empire over the First Order, you've done your wrong job on getting that put into place. Um Sorry, let me see what people are saying here. Did you talk to the droid built into the Falcon? No, I did not talk to the droid built. There's no way of doing that, Stanley. You're just basically flying the thing. Because only motherfucking Mace Windu has this. Yeah, that's true. That was the other thing too, is when they are talking about the different colors and who had these, they say, oh, you can choose the green color like Master Yoda and Qui-Gon and all this stuff and Qui-Gon, whatever. And then when they said about the violet, all they mentioned was Mace Windu. It's like, yeah, because Mace is the only one that actually has that. Yes, it is an expensive toy. Exactly, Cordell. It's heavy though. It's very, very heavy. It's a solid built toy, I guess you could say. It's worth the $200, quite honestly, because it was the only lightsaber that I know of that you can change out just the crystal and get different colors out of your blade without having to. I am not rich, Mr. Roboto. This was a splurge for me, is what this was. Yeah, this was definitely a splurge for me on this one. So, uh, no, I'm not a Sith. I'm more of a Bendu, quite honestly. That's why I picked the Elemental. I do love the Bendu. It really, it really is the perfect balance of the Force. Neither light nor dark, gray for that matter, and force of nature, an elemental force of nature. And that's what I loved about it. And he's not a Jedi either. He's not a Jedi. He's not a Sith. He is the Bendu, as he puts it, an elemental. And that's one of the things I want them to get into. That Dave Filoni came up with that, and I believe he talked to Lucas about it quite a bit before putting it in there. Um, that was fucking awesome. It really was. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. It's a birthday splurge, and I'm old enough to do it. And if you ask how old I am, I will say, what is it? For a tree, I'm but a sapling. For a mountain, I have not begun in years. And for a man, I'm just right. That is the correct way of saying it. Send us a postcard from Tomorrowland. Say hi to Clooney. Tomorrowland is undergoing renovations at the moment. And yeah, they have a gigantic Star Wars museum in there. And they have a whole bunch. I guess they had Marvel stuff in there to begin with, but now they don't. Yeah, for a Yoda, I am still a baby. Exactly. Yeah, I kind of went a little more Knights of the Old Republic with it, Cordell. Knights of the Old Republic mixed in with a little bit of Elemental is where I went with that. I could have done wraps on it too and all that kind of stuff, but I didn't want to go that route. I saw other people doing other stuff. There was a lot of purple blades, which was funny. I mean, come on, it was the only one that you can't get in the store. All the other colors you can get in the store. So yes, I technically could probably sell my violet crystal for a shit ton of money online, and probably make up the money back to get that I spent for the blade. But why? Why would I do that? Uh, does not come with a bong attachment. Uh, Mr. Roboto, that most of the lightsabers cost anywhere from about 120 bucks to about 300 bucks, depending on what one you get, because they're not cheap. There are other knockoffs that are out there too, and that just aren't as good. Yeah. I wanted to get an official one, and like I said, that you can change out the kyber crystal and change out the color of your blade. That was the selling point for me. That was the only thing I've never seen. That's why I've never gotten a lightsaber until now. It's like, okay, well, if I want to get a character lightsaber, sure, you're stuck with that color. Um, I wanted something that was a little more customizable. And I know there's one other company out there that actually does make a customizable blade for like 150 bucks, I think is what it is, 130 bucks, something like that. But again, um, yeah, I want to be able to sit there and actually see it as I'm putting it together and what I've got. And this thing was pretty damn heavy. That's all I can say. I could literally probably knock somebody out with the hilt of this thing and not do any damage to it whatsoever. It's metal. It is actual metal. No, Pepper doesn't get anywhere near it. So, because it's not put within her reach. Um, oh yeah, and you also, since you pick, what designation you are, elemental or what kind of force user you are, you also get a little pin as well. That's the elemental pin for your money. So you get the pin, you get the lightsaber, you get the sheath. I can show you what the sheath looks like. There we go. So this is the sheath as well. It's padded and everything, and it's got a little, over the shoulder thing, all that good stuff. You know, there you go. So for that amount of money, it's fine. And like I said, it was a splurge. It was a birthday gift to myself on that one. Uh, and I'm okay with it. So how was the rest of I call it Star Wars Land. I know they want to say Galaxy's Edge, but I call it Star Wars Land. There's lots of stuff to do. So there's people dressed in character, and it's kind of funny. It's people were coming up to you and in character. Like I was taking pictures of the outside, and this one guy scared the shit out of me and said, "So you like taking pictures of gravestones?" I was like, "What?" And I turned around, and I saw that he was dressed in character because I was almost going to be like, "What the fuck?" Um, and I said, "Well, yeah, sometimes." And then we started getting into a little conversation about things. He actually was trying to put me off getting the gift card, saying that they were out of them. And so if you're asking around about where to get the gift cards from, they're not going to tell you, these people that are in character. You actually have to go and hunt for it. It took me like 15, 20 minutes to fucking find it. Yeah. Why is it not called the Outer Rim? Galaxy's Edge. So I don't know why it's not called the Outer Rim, Stanley. It's supposed to be on Baku, which I think is that stupid planet that Rian made up. Yeah, it is actually the planet that Rian made up for episode 8. Um, and so there's other characters too. One guy, when I was carrying around the lightsaber, in the pouch, I couldn't tell if he was asking me seriously about uh what it's like building one of those things because he had never built it before, or if he was in character asking me about this. Because it's supposed to be run by the First Order of this area. And so you're trying to avoid running into the stormtrooper because you have stormtroopers roaming around too, and or the duck troopers as I call them, because they actually look like duck faces now, the stormtrooper mass. And they're asking you what's in the box. Basically they're mostly interacting with children is really what they're doing. And there's kids that are dressed up, I mean little kids that are dressed up in Star Wars costumes, all that kind of stuff. And it's actually kind of cute. They do a good job of it. There's also a Chewbacca that's running around who's got the Chewbacca kind of thing going on. It's digitally synthesized inside. He's got handlers that are with him as well. Um, Krylo runs around too. He's got some stormtroopers flanking him, and he interacted with some kids. We're in the holding pen waiting to go into Savi's workshop, and there was 3 little girls, one dressed as Rey, one dressed as Chewbacca, and one dressed as something else. I can't remember what it was. And of course, he called them over and started talking to them and all that stuff. Ben Swallow, yeah. No, I call him Krylo. So I have come up with a theory that you know how you have trekkers and trekkies and um, to designate which kind of Star Trek fan you are and all that stuff. I'm fairly sure we now have that for Star Wars fans as well. So you have the OTs, which are the original trilogy people. You have the preaks, which are the prequel fans. And then you have the Ray Rays, which are into the new trilogy. So that is your new designations there is the OTs, the preaks, and the Ray Rays. I am neither a Ray Ray nor am I a preak. I'm probably an OT for the most part. You have Star Wars fans too, which are fans of pretty much all the encompassing stuff as well. You're an OD? No, you're an OT, original trilogy. Kind of like OG, but OT. Yeah. Hey, Jar, how's it going? Yeah. And quite honestly, so the the Mandalorian has kind of reignited my interest again in Star Wars, to tell you the truth, because it's so good. It's fun. It's hopeful for the most part, even though it's kind of bleak. And going to Galaxy's Edge right during this kind of perked me up a bit even more, even though it's set with the stupid First Order. um I'm digging where they're going with this, quite honestly. And yes, I tried blue milk too, by the way. Blue milk tastes like bubble gum, like thick bubble gum, which is just really nasty. So Mandalore fans are Star Wars fans, essentially. There's no, you know, there you go. Yeah, because otherwise, then you have to go into Rebels fans and Clone Wars and all that stuff. So yeah, all the successful Star Wars now is directly before or after OT. Really? I don't know. Optimus. At least you're not Ray Ray. Kind of like Cray Cray, but only Ray Ray. Yeah. Fallen Order is before. Yeah, I've actually been playing Fallen Order and I need to get back to it again. So I probably should let you guys go here at some point. Yes, I did the blue milk. I should say Feisty did the blue milk. So Feisty really wanted to try out the blue milk. And I was like, I'll have a sip because I'm just curious about it. So I bought her a blue milk, took a sip, and took 2 sips actually, because I was like, "What is this?" And it was thick, uh, and it tasted. I was like, "You know what? I know there was something that was wrong about it," and I was like, "Oh, it's bubble gum. That's what it is." And it's a blue cheese milk. No, it's essentially like coconut. It's a coconut slurry, but it really does taste like bubble gum. Yeah. And no, Stanley, it costs more if you wanna suck directly from the teat, to get it. Costs a lot more credits. Yeah. They do have it was kind of funny too, they have little, salacious crumbs that you can buy to sit on your shoulder that are little puppets, and you have a little, stick that you can make them move their arms, or you can make them move their heads and all that kinda stuff, and yeah, they had little porgs too that you can sit on your, uh butterbeer, Mr. Roboto? You're talking about Harry Potter? That's a different theme park altogether. That's not Disney. Yeah. Can you eat them directly from the spit? No, you can't. Yeah. They did have, like, meat on a so that was the other thing is we wanted to go into the cantina, but the cantina was booked for the day. I actually forgot to make reservations on that, and I had heard that you need reservations, and I forgot about it, and then we got there, and I was like, "Oh, yeah, something I forgot to make was reservations for the cantina." So that was the only thing we weren't able to get into, honestly, was the cantina. Oh, and Haunted Mansion, because Haunted Mansion broke down. And the nice thing about this chit that I've got here is you can use this all over the park. So you're not just regulated to using this at Galaxy's Edge or Star Wars Land or anything like that. I paid for my beignets over at New Orleans Land or whatever it is with my chit here. Um, yeah, I paid for some bun mai as well. Not bun mai, steamed pork buns, basically, with that as well. Yeah, that was the cool thing about it. So yeah, you can pay for your food, you can pay for your uh toys that you're gonna buy, for your Disney ears, for whatever it is that you want there. Oh, the funny thing was, yeah, it broke down briefly, Pen. Uh we actually were gonna go on it. We saw the wait was 20 minutes and we're like, let's go. We're gonna go take a look at something else. And then we came back and they didn't have any time on it, but there was a big long ass line, which meant that it was broken down. And then they went back up again, and the time to wait was like 40 minutes at that point. We're like, yeah, screw it. We don't want to wait for that. I never need to wear pants, HR. The funny thing was, the most ironic thing was, the only place that didn't have Wi-Fi was Tomorrowland. Tomorrowland did not have Wi-Fi. Every place else did, except for Tomorrowland. Ah, yeah. So that's one thing if you really, if you're going to either Disneyland or Disney World is take a look on your phone and set up, your Wi-Fi because you're going to go through battery life like crazy, especially if you're using the Disneyland app or the Disney Parks app. I guess you could say. So the Disney Parks app is where you can set up a whole bunch of reservations. It has the map on there too, so you know where the hell you're going, and you can even buy things on there too and whatnot. But yeah, it uses a lot of GPS, so definitely set it up on your Wi-Fi. It's 6G. Yeah. Maybe Tomorrowland is beyond Wi-Fi. I doubt it. How old is Tomorrowland? Tomorrowland opened with the park, Stanley. So what was that in the 50s? Yeah. They are renovating the shit out of Tomorrowland right now. They're widening the entranceway so it's not a bottleneck anymore. Um, what else are they doing? Um, there's supposed to be a whole bunch of really big upgrades they're doing there. I think they have rechargeable I carry my own rechargeable batteries or my battery packs, each I actually have, like, 3 battery packs on me at any one time. Even though I don't need to go through that much, I always have, like, about 3 battery packs on me. So I probably have, like, about 5 days worth of battery storage on me. Yeah. So, yeah, if you are going, definitely go to, Galaxy's Edge. Oh, we heard that January 17th is when the latest, Disney ride, the Galaxy's Edge ride is opening up. It's got something to do I think it's called Escape the First Order or something like that, and that's gonna open up on January 17th for those of you playing at home. So, yeah. Oh, another little tidbit too is, in the bottom of Space Mountain. Like, uh, you won't be able to see it, of course, while you're on the roller coaster, but in the very center of Space Mountain, at the very bottom, there is a half-court basketball court down there that Disney employees can use on their off time to play basketball. Yeah, Disney's plot to track you, drain your batteries, and sell you more. Exactly. I actually wasn't too bad. I dropped down to 46% on my battery life, and I pretty much had that thing on the entire time I was there. And I was there from like what time did I get there? I think I got there like 10:30 in the morning, and I was there till 6 at night, so not too bad. Oh, everyone's trying to escape the First Order, Stanley. They're horrible. Yeah. Yeah, I have no desire to see episode 9 either. I really don't. Uh, if budget stuck on a small world, no. You don't need to be stuck on a small world. It's a small world. That's ridiculous. You can always go on Pirates of the Caribbean over and over again. That one's fun. I'm not much for roll. So my favorite ride used to be at Disneyland, Mr. Toad's Wild Ride. It's a very mild ride, but it's funny as hell, or it was funny as hell. Now it's gone, completely gone. And I'm very disappointed in that one because I really like that ride. Yeah. I have Solo on my hard drive for a while. Haven't watched it yet. Don't, Stanley. It's really not worth it. It really isn't worth it. I saw it once in the theaters and I have no desire ever to see that movie ever again. The only thing I would watch is probably the last like 10 minutes of the movie because that is the most intriguing portion of the movie. Those the last 10 minutes. And I was like, why didn't you roll with this to begin with? Yeah. Oh, you like the Nautilus? Yeah, it's called the Nemo ride now. EJAR is what that's called. It's the Finding Nemo ride. Uh, that's what the Nautilus ride has been turned into. Uh, yeah. No, Mr. Roboto. I've been on It's a Small World once in my life, and that is the only time I will ever be on it. I could never get back on board that shit again. That is the one thing they would have to pay me at least six figures in order to get back on that ride. It's that annoying. And even then, it'd have to be in the high six figures. So close to seven. Let's just say that. No, the Song of the South is gone, like long gone. Hell, Robinson Crusoe has been turned into the Tarzan tree. So there you are. Yeah. No, it's kind of funny. Feisty got caught in traffic, like really bad traffic. So I got in there around like 10:30, no, about 10:15. That's right. And so we're gonna meet over by Main Street there. And she texted me and told me that she wasn't gonna get there till at least 11. So I made my way over to Galaxy's Edge because I knew where I want what I wanted was I wanted that gift card first. And, having to fight through whatever it was, and then she texted me that she was almost there at around 11, and I was like, "Alright, I'm gonna make my way back," and so she actually didn't get in until, like, 11:30 because, I mean, you have to park, which takes a little while to get through the parking structure, then you have to take the tram over, then you have to wait in line in order to get in, and, I mean and this wasn't a crowded time. So, yeah, yeah. Yeah, I got the bad joke, EHR, I just kinda moved past it. Fast Pass was still bottled up as well, Mr. Roboto. It Fast Pass is okay. Like I said, there wasn't that many people for what was going on there. It was the first week I think of Christmas, the Christmas stuff being up. So even then it wasn't that bad until the evening when the evening people started coming in, then things started getting bad for wait times and crowds and whatnot. I am not one for crowds. So yeah, you can get the fast pass on your phone now. You pay a couple extra bucks and you get your fast pass. So it's not like you have to go and do something special in order to get the fast pass now. You can just actually get it off of your phone and you just show it. You just get it scanned on your phone. Another thing that you can get off your phone. But so yeah, it was worth it. It was a lot of fun. I spent a shit ton of money. Yeah. I am done doing things for a little while here. Yeah. You can also do the virtual line too, where you just put yourself in line virtually and then they tell you when to come in and do it that way. Yeah. So if you like what you see here, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. You'll see the like, share, and subscribe right down below there. Well, like and subscribe, you'll see down there. Share also too. Um, and tell your friends. Come on by. If you also want to know when I'm gonna be on live again next, you can hit the bell down below there. If you've already hit the bell before, don't hit it again. It will unclick it. You can go into the bell settings, get as many or as little notifications as you want. If you're still on the fence about joining up at the very end of this video, you're going to see a video pop up here. That video is going to be taken from my vast video library based on the algorithms of all the stuff you've been watching, and they're going to try and match it up as best as possible with one of the videos in my library, putting it there. And up here is going to be, oh, I'll put the Mandalorian up here. I was going to put Titans up there to punish you guys, but no, I'll put the Mandalorian up there instead. Um, oh, you keep buffering? Really? That's kind of weird. Maybe it's me. Could be me. Who knows? Although I'm not seeing anything weird happening on my end here, so I don't know. Everything looks good on my end. Oh, 10,000 views really on Mr. Robot. I actually haven't gone back and taken a look at it yet. Nice. Thank you. Yeah, that Mr. Robot episode was huge. It really was huge. So yeah, and thank you everyone who actually subscribed so far. It's been, yeah, pretty pretty damn impressive actually having so many people and subscribe all at once here, mainly because of Mr. Robot. I don't know, I guess a lot of people are not covering Mr. Robot, which is a shame because it's a good show, and we've got 6 more episodes left. Yeah. um what else I have going on? So tomorrow again is Mr. Robot and Watchmen. Monday is his Dark Materials. Friday is another doubleheader of Mandalorian and Titans. Then we swing back around again to, excuse me, Saturday morning blast off. Maybe try some more Watchmen hating. Um, Possibly. Who knows? Yeah. But Dennis, you just don't get it. Oh, Titans has one more episode left. EHR. Then I'll drop Titans after next week. How about that? EHR, just for you. After next week, I'll drop Titans. Ah, you could bring all the hate watchers. No, I hate watching. I already left one channel because of that. I don't need to do it on this one. So yeah, exactly. Sign up for the Facebook group. There is a Facebook group that you guys can post stuff on and talk amongst yourselves. I do have a Twitter. I have an Instagram. I also have a Patreon, but there are no tiers, but they will be setting up at the end of this year, beginning of next year, because I want to give you guys something for your money, that kind of thing. So yeah. Yes, exactly. If people want to hate watch me, that's fine. I'm okay with that. They hat watch me too, though, Stanley. They really do. No, you don't want to see me do Cloak and Dagger. Cloak and Dagger would be a very short video. Hate subscribing. They could be. They could be doing some hate subscribing. Uh, yeah, I don't wear that many hats though, Mr. Ejar. I really don't. So I have one like favorite hat that I have. But that's about it. Sorry, Pepper's just passed out on her pillow. It's kind of funny. Yeah. All right, guys. Thank you, everybody who joined me today in the chat. Thank you if you made it this far in the video. Like I said, Saturdays are kind of rambly. That's what happens. That's what we do here. No, I don't take pictures with Goofy because you're not here, Mr. Roboto. Ah ha ha. Ah ha. See what I did there? Anyway. Zing! Exactly. Yeah. People always, walk into that one when they say take a picture with Goofy and then yeah, that's an easy one to get into. Um, thank you everybody who's watched. Thank you everyone who's subscribed. And I'm gonna see you again tomorrow for Mr. Robot and Watchmen. Until then, I will see you guys tomorrow. Have a good rest of your day. And until then, don't let the door hit your ass on the way out. Otherwise, you could wind up spending a shitload of money at Disneyland like I did and not really regretting it, to tell you the truth. Thanks, everybody. Have a good rest of your day.